Where the thorns took root. At exactly 3:47 in the morning, laughter jolted me awake, not the kind that warms a room, but the cold, mocking sort. I heard an engine growling, tires clawing at the dirt, and then the white flash of headlights slicing across my bedroom walls like the sweep of a searchlight. Then the crunch. The hydrangeas I had once planted with careful hands split apart under spinning tires and unfeeling steel. It was the third time this month. I didn't rush outside. I didn't yell. I simply sat in the darkness, unmoving, watching the red glow of tail lights fade into the distance, just like always. He never lingered. Just showed up long enough to leave a scar. She told me not to worry. Said it was harmless. Guys will be guys. No. Some men are just beasts. Some don't just hurt, they bait, they provoke. And I had just finished laying my trap. She left me for him. Told me I was too tender. Too still. Too soft. Said she didn't want someone who cared for rose bushes. She wanted someone who tore things apart with bare hands. And him, he was just that. Loud, brash, the type to laugh too wide while his eyes stayed vacant. 6 weeks after our divorce was finalized, she introduced him like he was some upgrade. 6 months later, they were married. 3 blocks away. And from then on, the drive-bys began. She wore big sunglasses like a mask. He wore a grin like a trophy. Like he'd pissed on everything I'd built and claimed it as his own. I let it go for a while. Even called her the first time he tore up the side of my yard. She laughed. Real men leave their mark, she said. She didn't realize. So do I. I began to watch. The same time, the same path, the same tire marks, every incident choreographed for attention. He thrived on the chaos. Believed it made him untouchable. But real strength doesn't need volume. It waits. It plans. I installed cameras. Low profile. Motion sensitive. No blinking lights. No sound. And the footage confirmed everything I suspected. It was never an accident. He'd bumped the fence just enough to shake it loose. Never enough to fully knock it down. Until last week. That night, he didn't run it over. He kicked it. Shattered the boards like he wanted to leave a signature. His boot print was stamped into the wreckage. It felt personal. Fine. I'd return the favor. But I wouldn't call the police. I'd let pain do the talking. 3 days. That's how long it took to construct it, just beyond the garden's edge. Rebar. Jagged steel. Barbed wire hidden beneath a soft layer of mulch. Camouflaged. Silent. Probably illegal. But so was trespassing. So was public humiliation. So was taking everything I had, then circling back for more. The next night, I sat quietly with a mug of coffee in hand, the room still, the clock ticking. At 3:42, I heard it, the low snarl of his engine crawling up the drive like a threat. Gravel shifted. Tires met soil. And then, screaming. Not for show. Not a yell for the sake of drama, but the guttural cry of something broken. I stepped out onto the porch, calm, steady. His truck leaned sideways, the front tire buried deep in the trap. Blood streaked across the hood. The windshield shattered like cracked ice. He staggered out, likely hoping to inspect the damage. That was his mistake. He fell, chest first, directly into the snare. Tried to drag himself free. Failed. The pain held him down. The wire didn't let go. I watched. Still. Unflinching. Then she arrived, barefoot, wild-eyed, screaming his name like she still believed he could save her. But when she looked at me, she didn't scream out of fear for him. She screamed because she finally understood what I had done. She ran to me, shouting. "What did you do?" I met her eyes. Steady. "I garden," I replied. Then stepped aside to give her a full view of the man she chose, now writhing like a wounded animal. She tried to call for help. No signal. Blocked. That was part of the design too. Eventually, someone would arrive. But not before the bleeding. Not before she saw the truth. He wasn't powerful. He wasn't fearless. He was a coward. A vandal. A clown. They say karma doesn't have a mailing address. But that night, it lived right beneath my soil, and it wore his blood like fertilizer. No charges were ever filed. Too many questions. Too much shame. Too much video evidence. She stopped walking past the house. He sold the truck. I rebuilt the fence, better this time. Steel posts. Cross-braced beams. The flowers came back slower than before. But they bloomed tougher. Like me. I don't smirk when I pass their quiet, empty house. I don't cheer. I just sip my coffee and glance at the patch of earth where he fell. And I remind myself, real men don't ruin gardens. They bury what needs to stay buried.